lock up money. It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
The Corner Station Convenience Store and the Crossing Pub are both conveniently located on Pleasant Drive in Pierce, South Dakota. At the Corner Station, grab your favorite hot and cold beverages and snacks while filling your vehicle up with Cenex brand gasoline. The Corner Station also features a super tunnel car wash to keep your vehicle sparkling clean. At the Crossing, grab a cold beverage and check out their selection of appetizers while watching the Stanley County Buffaloes and Pierre Governors live on their big screen televisions. Best of luck to all area students from the Corner Station and the Crossing.
Each day brings the opportunity to make a difference, to follow through with integrity, to solve challenges through innovative thinking, and to bring the technical know-how needed to get the job done. At Wilbur Ellis, this is how we work, standing side by side as local experts who partner with the stewards of the land. We do it together. That's the power of we.
Graham Tire of Pierre is your premier hometown shop, specializing in tires to fit vehicles, from ATVs to large farm equipment and everything in between. At your tire store next door, you can find a plethora of brand name tires that range from 4 to 10 ply and much more. Our highly skilled technicians can handle brakes, heating, and air conditioning. Call us today at 224-8643 or visit us at grahamtire.com. Graham Tire is a proud sponsor of Pierre and surrounding communities' local activities.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Ready to gain an edge in your career? Tide Machinery's Service Technician Apprenticeship Program is designed for anyone wishing to become a diesel mechanic working on Case IH equipment through full-time, on-the-job training. Enjoy hands-on work experience, learn from factory-trained service experts, and apply your knowledge from school directly to your work with this unique program opportunity. Become a titan in the industry and grow with a dealership that invests in you at Tide Machinery, Highmore, Miller, and Pierre, your local Case IH dealer. Visit TitanMachinery.com/careers to learn more.
Lucky for us, life is full of choices, big and small. They define us, make us who we are. And when it comes time for you to choose, a car, home, your next big adventure, or start a new business, Farmers Union Insurance has the variety of coverage options to protect each perfect moment. Farmers Union Insurance. Contact your local Farmers Union Insurance agent today.
WindCircle, operating since 1995. We combine quality customer service and experience with the right technology to meet your needs. Our cybersecurity certified technicians will make sure your systems are secure. Services offered are video and data cabling, service and support contracts, cutting-edge camera systems to door security devices. WindCircle has many hardware options: Dell, HP, Cisco, SonicWall, and Ruckus, to name a few. Our staff has over 30 years of combined network design and cabling experience at your disposal. Call us today, 605-224-1111, and request a free quote. Again, that's 605-224-1111.
At Iverson Auto, our legacy is your trust. Whether you're in Mitchell or in Huron, we embody the values that have defined us for generations. We have been your partner on the road since 1948.
We bring decades of expertise to ensure your journey begins with confidence. Our goal is to turn your visit into a memorable experience, leaving you with a smile and peace of mind.
Iverson Auto of Mitchell and Huron are here to make your car buying experience smooth and enjoyable every step of the way.
Visit us online at iversonauto.com.
When you're thinking of a new or used car, motorcycle, pickup, or RV, think of us. We make all sorts of vehicle loans. We can set you up with payments that fit your budget. So if you have getting some new wheels in mind, stop by and see us. We'll get you the right loan. Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. We're big on you.
We're small enough to know your name, but we're big on you.
With our new online loan application, you can go to our website and apply for a loan when it's most convenient for you. We make getting loan approval fast and easy. Our local lenders are available to assist you if you have any questions. We make it pain-free to get that loan you've been wanting. We're an equal housing lender. Oahe Federal Credit Union, your hometown credit union since 1955. Federally insured by NCUA.
College is where ideas come to life, where you'll find your pack. And at Northern State University, you'll lead the pack. It's part of the Northern Experience, right here in Aberdeen, South Dakota. This is where the next generation of leaders thrive, through world-class facilities, hands-on experiences, and generous scholarship opportunities to impact every part of who you're meant to be. Don't just earn a degree, shape your future and experience Northern.
Do you have a new pair of jeans or a favorite shirt with a small tear or hole? Or your winter coat has a broken zipper? Don't throw them away. Call Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery in Fort Pierre to have your items fixed as good as new. They also provide hemming, other sewing services, as well as custom embroidery for a truly professional look and design. Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery is a proud supporter of all Stanley County school activities and wishes the student athletes the best of luck in the school year.
Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid, up to 100 times stronger than morphine. Even a tiny amount can be deadly. It's often mixed with other drugs without your knowledge, increasing your risk of overdose. Protect yourself and your loved ones and avoid unknown substances. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember, one pill can kill. For more information on fentanyl prevention, visit your local health resource or speak to a healthcare professional today. This message was brought to you by the Great Plains Tribal Opioid Response, so that the people may live.
This is
attitude that is going to turn this program and continue heading it in the right direction. It's not showing up in the win column, but it's showing up on the floor. And that's the kind of attitude that you love to see here in high school hoops. And congratulations to the McLaughlin Mustangs for their third straight win. They really battled tough, and it's hard when everything is going against you. The momentum is shifted. They hung tough. They got the win. All right, in our Bank West pregame show, we will talk to head coach Joey Fisher. So we think if it doesn't play, I'll give you a quick recap of what we talked about. But let's get to our Buff Nation keys to success. Before we try this out, let's hear a word from our great friends at Buff Nation.
Buff Nation is proud to support and serve area athletics and the Stanley County Buffaloes this season. Buff Nation never stops giving back, and you can become a valued member today with memberships starting at $30. Membership fees include Buff Nation decals, discounted ticketing to events, free concession stand items, and so much more. If you are interested in becoming a member of Buff Nation, please contact Tate Gabriel at 605-222-5537.
Well, we were hoping to hear from head coach Joey Fisher, but unfortunately my technology over these past couple interviews just not wanting to cooperate. However, I'll fill you in on what we talked about and what his keys to success were for tonight. Now, Stanley County is playing back at full steam. They've got Tegan Freitag back after he had to miss 2 games. Weston Prince is back after he had to miss 1 game and essentially half a game after that technical foul that was called. And kind of going back and looking, I think, it is what it is. Was it not? I don't know. We'll leave that up to the officials. But what that did do was it gave great chance for the Stanley County bench to get some meaningful minutes. And he loved to see that out of his guys. And how important is that going to be for Stanley County moving forward? Now, we talked about Stanley County and what they've got coming up with the Jones County Invitational next week. and that's going to be a great test. They've got some great teams participating in that tournament, as they often do, and don't worry, we're going to have that coverage for you on KPLO. Can't wait to be there with the one and only Darren Boyle for some weekend basketball. I'll be there Thursday and Friday. But as we mentioned, Stanley County, after that, they have got a long road ahead. Jones County Invitational on the 15th, 16th, and 17th. They go back up to Murdo to take on Jones County on the 20th. They're home against Gettysburg, who sits at 4-3. Jones County, by the way, at 3-2 on the season. On the 23rd, it's Gettysburg. The very next day, it's against the 6-1 Cheyenne Eagle Butte Braves, a fantastic team putting together an awesome season. That's going to be a big night, or a big afternoon, I should say, here inside Parkview. Hall of Fame induction, the soup cook-off, which I know my lady Natalie's going to come in and bring in some killer soup for that one. Can't wait for that. Then the 27th, it's against Sully Buttes, their third straight home game before they go on the road and take on Crow Creek on the 29th. That Sully Buttes team still undefeated. They're taking on Highmore Herald tonight over on KPLO. So, with those keys to success, as we mentioned, kind of talking with Joey Fisher, back to full strength here for this team, but it was very valuable to get those guys some crucial minutes down the stretch, because there is a long road ahead. I mean, these guys are going to be playing a lot of games against a lot of very good opponents, and they're trying to protect an undefeated record. Now, thanks to John Duffy, we went back and looked deep into some of the records of Stanley County, and their last undefeated start that went as long as this one has gone was back in 2002, 2003. That is how long it has been since this team started undefeated. They went 10-0, and Jason Buckles a part of that team going into the Stanley County Buffalo Hall of Fame here in a couple of weeks. Before that, their last undefeated start was an 11-0 start in 96 and 97. And none other than the Lady Buffaloes head coach, Chris Fosham, was a member of that team. And you have to go back to a 13-1 start in 1988 and 89. Before that, 1962 and 1963. What this start has done for the Stanley County Buffaloes is nearly unprecedented. Hasn't happened in over 20 years. They look to protect that. But what we talked about with Fisher and those keys to success, listen, you just got to take it one game at a time. It is a long season. He also mentioned that they cut up the season into fourths, and they're through the first fourth of their season, sitting at an undefeated 5-0. Let's quickly recap back through some of those wins for Stanley County. They started off with a dominant 69-47 win over Miller on the road. It was Teagan Breitag at the buzzer who win it against Winter 52-50. They would beat Phillips 74-33. Another 70-point performance against Harriet Selby area in a 30-point victory there. Their last win came against Highmore Herald 60-27. It was led by Eddie Duffy with 25 points. Now, Stanley County will tell you they didn't even have their best stuff against Highmore Herald in their last win. They look to rectify that here tonight against a good McLaughlin team who also, much like their girls, sits at 2-4. Well, folks, we want to remind you, if you're making your way out here to Parkview, it's the 8:30 hour. South Dakota Office of Highway Safety reminds you to slow the drive. Arrive live starts with you. You've got someplace to be. Hopefully that place is here at Parkview with us. If it's not, join us on KGFX. Download the DRG News app so you can bounce around from game to game. Let's quickly introduce you to our game officials. Before we do that, the word from South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division, Consumer Protection.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
And our officials, the same from the girls' game. It'll be Mr. Nick Schultz, Ryan Christensen, and Eric Dean. We're moments away from tip-off, so we're going to step away for one final break. When we come back, we'll let you know starting fives both sides to get game 2 underway. KGFX and DRGnews.com.
Xander Auto Parts, the only local auto parts store in the Fort Pierre area, has been serving Central South Dakota for over 40 years. They're a trusted name when it comes to automotive parts and supplies. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to assisting you in finding exactly what you need. Convenience is also a top priority. They're located at 500 Sioux Avenue, Xander Auto Parts. They support area youth in their activities. When you need auto parts or supplies, shop Xander Auto Parts, your auto value parts store.
People helping people.
Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
When you need building supplies, there's no need to go anywhere except to Bauman Lumber in Fort Pierre. Bauman Lumber is locally owned and offers quality products, expert advice, free estimates, and free local delivery for large or small projects. Whether it's a home improvement project, remodel job, or all new construction, they even welcome special orders. Quality building materials and affordable prices for residential or commercial projects can be found at Bauman Lumber, 1223 Sale Barn Road, Fort Pierre, or call 223-9762.
For reliable, safe, efficient, and economical electrical work, call Ferding Electric. Ferding Electric staffs licensed, knowledgeable electricians to help you with all your electrical projects. New construction, rewires, or upgrades, residential or commercial, Ferding Electric knows how to get the job done right. Call Ferding Electric at 224-8684. Stop in at 2903 East Elizabeth, just off the truck bypass. See Ferding.com or find them on Facebook. Ferding Electric, licensed electricians, quality service, and dependable products since 1956.
Welcome back into the BankWest pregame show. Now about to turn to tip. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin Coward, bringing you back inside the broadcast booth for game number 2, and we're hoping for some of the same theatrics we had in game number 1 between the Lady Buffaloes and the Mustangs. Of course, coming down to the wire at the buzzer, Stanley County falls 47-46. Let's introduce you to the starting lineups here on the floor tonight for the Mustangs. It will be Mr. Zach Bullhead, Javon Chasing Hawk, Tyler Bullhead, and Caleb Oliveros. They've got some switched up numbers on us, so we're going to try to kind of figure out who is who here. Stanley County starting 5 just announced. It is same 5 as normal, but some new additions here after Tegan Bright Tag and Weston Prince able to come back in and play a little bit more ball. Eddie Duffy and Paxton Deal out there as well. Stanley County in the home whites. And the Mustangs and the Road Blacks. See if we can get an updated roster from McLaughlin. Meanwhile, we're underway as Tegan Bright Tag wins the tip. Buffaloes will be coming into your passenger seat. If you're listening on KGFX, first whistle is a Weston Prince travel. And I think I've learned my lesson with this Stanley County offense. When I do my score sheets, I often write it off to the right side of their name. But with all the scoring that these guys do, I'm going to have to go underneath the names. These guys can put a lot of points on the Wegner Auto scoreboard. Eddie Duffy had a great night. After a slow night the game before, he scored 25 against Timor Herald. He had a silent night with 10 points. I know for most people that's a pretty good evening, but for Eddie Duffy, 10 points with not much luck from outside the arc. He was able to right the ship after that Harriet Selby area win, and got the win in Highmore. Meanwhile, on the floor, McLaughlin getting to work on offense. Javon Chasing Hawk with a three-pointer. That's no good, and Paxton Deal climbs the ladder and comes down with the board. Rifling pass underneath from Weston Prince to Tegan Breitag. And that'll be good for 2. Stanley County is on the board here in the first 60 seconds. Brendan Bothwell trying to generate a steal. Meanwhile, Tyler Bullhead will bring it across midcourt. Down to Chasing Hawk up top for one of those numbers that we don't have, number 32. But see if we can get those for you. Here's a 3 on the way. Caleb Oliveros too strong. Rebound is fought for, and Chasing Hawk goes down in a heap, hobbling that left ankle a little bit. That was a very scary rebound chase down there for Chasing Hawk. Meanwhile, Stanley County, by the way, Chasing Hawk was ruled out of bounds on that rebound attempt, so Stanley County will get the ball back on offense. Prince up top to Bothwell. Bothwell swings. Duffy for three, and it's good. Eddie Duffy, 1 for 1 from outside the arc, and look at Brendan Bothwell knife through and get the steal. We've got a whistle, and they're going to get Eddie Duffy on a foul underneath. Well, Bothwell with the nice steal, but he couldn't get the bucket to go. So the Mustangs will inbound. Stanley County still applying that full court press that has given teams a lot of problems, and Paxton Deal getting a little bit too aggressive there on the block up the floor as he bumps into Caleb Oliveros and draws the second team foul of this first quarter. Mustangs will inbound. With it is Tyler Bullhead, one of these teams' only listed captain. Paxton Deal steps in between the pass. And you can always count on the great Keely Braceland to get you the McLaughlin updated lineup. This pass is going to be batted around. What a diving save from Paxton Deal as he goes sliding out of bounds on his back, gets it, and he's crashing into the bleachers. Meanwhile, somehow turns and saves it. That's one of the most spectacular defensive saves I've seen all season. Duffy wants 3 more from the same spot. Same result. Stanley County out in front 8-0. Number 25 turned 32 is Latai Brown Otter. Trying to make his way up the floor is Tyler Bullhead. He's contacted. That'll be the third team foul. Stanley County showing their physicality out front early. Stanley County making it hard work to get inbounded, but they were able to get it in, but a long pass up ahead out in front of the Stanley County bench goes over the intended target. Number 30, by the way, Zach Bullhead, changed from number 14. So some new numbers out there, but again, like I said, you can always count on Keely Braceland, the athletic director here for Stanley County, to take care of us as they so often do in this building. Beautiful drive. Stendil contorting and finishing with the right hand. Going up and under. Paxton Deal on the board. Freitag with a steal. Bothwell kicks. Duffy fakes the 3. Drives the lane. Inside for Freitag, and he's got 2 more. They are flying all over the place. Stanley County leading 12-0 here in the first 3 minutes, and a timeout is taken by the Mustangs, and we'll take it with them. Nathaniel Brown will call it for the Mustangs, their head coach. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this Agtegra break on KGFX.
This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Straight win to start the season. Hello, everybody. Justin Cower coming to you live. And if you're watching live on drgnews.com at the KGFX station page, that's the great work of Brian Menning. And it looks like Caleb Brozick has made his way into the building here tonight. The other great camera op from Live Ticket having a word with Brian Menning over there. Good to see Caleb Brozick rocking a haircut underneath the hat. There he is. Meanwhile, Stanley County leads 12-0. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Haley Hansen is our great board op back in the DRG Media Group studios. Mustangs looking to get on the board here. Almost stolen again. Jack Deal, who had a career night against Selby area, generates another steal. This time Paxton Deal in the lane, short on the layup. And the rebound is pulled down by Brown Otter. Up ahead. Weston Prince almost scrapped the loose ball away as he was jumping out of bounds. Foot was on the line. So Brown Otter will inbound up top. He gets it to Tyler Bullhead. Bullhead on the left side wing, guarded by Jack Deal. Here's a long three on the way and in the bottom of the net. Look at Brown Otter, big man pulling a big three. And he's got his Mustangs on the Wegner Auto scoreboard. Love to see the big men take a three from the outside. Talon Brown Otter called for the reach-in foul against Paxton Deal. That'll be the first team foul of the evening for the Mustangs. Stanley County team plays at such a rapid pace on both sides of the basketball. Eddie Duffy wants three more from the corner. He was perfect from outside the arc until that point. He's 2 for 3 from deep. Stanley County still comfortably out in front, 12-3, and another defensive steal. This time it's Bothwell up ahead, and Jack Deal lays it in for the 2. Deal had 20 points against Harriet Selby area the other night, a huge catalyst in a shorthanded game for the Buffaloes, earning himself plenty of more minutes. This drive batted away out of the hands of Tyler Bullhead. Good hands from Brendan Bothwell to jar that one loose. Tegan Breitag, who has missed the last 2 games, is on the bench trying to get his conditioning back. You got to be well trained to play in this offense. And that 3 is up and good off the glass for Tyler Bullhead. Another note that Joey Fisher mentioned to us in the pregame was this team will take a lot of threes. They love to shoot it from outside of the arc, and a good shooting team. This pass down low, perfectly placed from Jack Deal. The point-blank layup, no good for Trevor Caldwell, who checked in for Breitag. 14-6, Stanley County leading with 3 to play in the first quarter. Brown Otter wants 3 more off the back iron. 6'8", Trevor Caldwell boxing out perfectly and racking in the rebound. Eddie Duffy wants 3 off the front iron, no good. That ball goes through the 5-hole of Zach Bullhead, and now we've got a whistle, and it looks like another foul against Stanley County. That will be their 4th. That one assessed to Brendan Bothwell. Weston Prince and Tegan Breitag checking back in. Bothwell and Caldwell head to the bench and go into the well to get a little bit of water. Not sure if that one... I always rely on Haley Hansen to let me know if some of those little monikers hit or not. Mustangs getting the ball across the midcourt line. Swinging it around, down into the corner. Brown Otter drives. Talon Brown Otter, that is. A couple Brown Otters on both the boys and the girls team here tonight. Zach Bullhead to inbound up top for Oliveros. Oliveros drives, kicks out. Good ball movement. Latai Brown Otter with another 3-point attempts. That's no good. He's now 1 for 3 on the night. Paxton Deal up the floor. What a feed inside, and Duffy lays it in with the left hand. That is good work from Paxton Deal. Great vision to find Eddie Duffy down underneath the hoop, and look at Jack Deal coming up from behind and picking the pocket of Oliveros. Stanley County back on the attack. Duffy up top. Shimmies the shoulders, kicks to the corner. Deal for 3. Off the iron, no good. Strong rebound by Breitag. He's fouled on the putback, and he will head to the line. Try to make it a 12-point Stanley County lead. 16-6 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. And the way that this game is trending, we talked Mustangs are potent 3-point shooters, both in quality and volume. They will shoot a lot. They're going to need to start hitting some. They don't want this game to slip away early. Breitag knocks down the first. These are our first free throw attempts of the evening. And folks, we had a wedgie in the girls' game, and big thanks to Brian Menning for letting me know that counts as an alternating possession, not just an immediate turnover. Second free throw is no good for Breitag, but it's just as quickly stolen away by Eddie Duffy. Another steal generated for Stanley County. Down low for Breitag. What a feed from Prince, and what a finish for Tegan Breitag, who has 7 points. Duffy with another steal. Up ahead to Jack Deal. He is blocked. Coming up behind was Weston Prince. He couldn't get the putback layup to go. Stanley County's defense creating all sorts of problems for the Mustangs. Weston Prince runs in, jars that one loose out of the hands of Zach Bullhead. That'll stay with the Mustangs. But, I told Joey Fisher, and I'll kind of fill you in here at the quarter break a little bit more about this. This team reminds me of something. I'll fill you in on what that is. Here's another steal. Weston Prince up to Paxton Deal. Deal in traffic. Can't get the layup to go. The Mustangs there to claim it. Couple of short missed shots from the Buffaloes could be making this a much larger deficit. Tyler Bullhead tries to go up with the right hand against Breitag off the right block. No good. Breitag got the rebound. Stanley County in the offensive zone quickly. 50 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Stanley County leading 19-6. Paxton Deal dribbling and working against Tyler Bullhead. Over to Jack Deal. Jack Deal circles back towards midcourt. Looking for an outlet. Duffy gets a screen. 3 on the way. No good off the iron. Breitag with the rebound. Mid-range jumper along the baseline is off the mark. Quick pass up ahead. Javon Chasing Hawk. Chased by Weston Prince, and a foul is called. And that'll be the 5th team foul for the Buffaloes. So the Mustangs will have free throws upcoming. Stanley County 1 for 2 from the line here in the first quarter. These are the first free throws for the Mustangs. 24 seconds left. So Stanley County can play for the last shot here in the first quarter. First free throw on the way for Javon Chasing Hawk. Rattles in and out. No good. Wholesale substitutions here for Stanley County. Trevor Caldwell back into the game. Also checking in is Chase Meyer. He's joined by James Fosham. Breitag, Deal, and Duffy will sit to get a couple extra minute break. Joey Fisher trying to steal a little bit of a breather for some of his biggest stars. Second free throw is up and good for Chasing Hawk. Jack Deal will bring it across midcourt, and they will play for the final shot. Shot clock shut off. 17 seconds and counting. Jack Deal dribbling with the left. Back to the scorer's table. Now off to his right. He is being hassled. Good defense by Bullhead. Now he crosses. He's picked up, and he is fouled. That foul will be assessed to Zach Bullhead. That's the 3rd team foul. 6.8 to play here in the first period. See where they want to go for this final shot. Deal inbounds. Finds its way inside for Caldwell. That pass came from James Fosham, but was deflected away. And now Eddie Duffy and Paxton Deal have concluded their short rest on the bench. They check in. 2 elite shooters back out on the floor for the Buffaloes, trying to get into the 20s here in the first quarter. Deal to inbound. Looking to his right. Now floats it over top. They let Duffy get open for 3, and he knocks it home. Clock did not start, and we've got a timeout. And we'll see. It's currently 22-7. But the clock operator did not get it started when the ball found its way to Eddie Duffy. Of course, there was about 4.5 seconds left, and that play all transpired and well under that allotment. So they should count the shot and let the Mustangs inbound from down here on the near side. So the officials will head over to the scorer's table. And they will say, we got a made basket, so that is true. And we'll see what they reset the clock to. Currently sits at 3.9. That feels about right. Now they'll switch it to 1 second. I guess that feels more on the nose. 22-7. Stanley County will take that lead into the second quarter. See if the Mustangs even try to get a full court heave up. At the buzzer, it's a right-handed rifling forward. No good for Brown Otter, and Stanley County in control here early. 22-7. And we will just keep it right here because I did want to continue my point about Stanley County and what Joey Fisher is kind of putting together here. Joey Fisher and I talked a lot about this team. He feels like there is a true substantial buy-in from these guys. Nobody's really jockeying for playing minutes. Everybody kind of playing their role. And in talking with him about something we're setting up later next week, I said, Coach, I just feel like these guys are like a bunch of junkyard dogs looking for their next meal. They're always flying around the floor. Anytime they see an opening or a loose ball, you got somebody going in at 100 miles an hour trying to claim it. Bodies are hitting to the floor. Players are diving into the bleachers. No pass is safe against this team. And again, it just reminds me of some junkyard dogs looking for a bite. And I'm going to get a taste of what this Stanley County team does in their practice, because I'm going behind the scenes in a day in the life with the Stanley County Buffaloes. I'll be joining them for practice on Monday. We're going to shoot, edit, and produce the whole thing for you, and you'll get an idea of what goes on. It's got these Stanley County Buffaloes sitting at 5-0 to start this season. Start of the second quarter, Stanley County out in front, 22-7. Mustangs will inbound, and Tyler Bullhead will bring it forward. Bullhead's got 3 of the 7 points. Ty Brown Otter's got the other 3 and 1 free throw made for Javon Chasing Hawk. Meanwhile, another Stanley County steal. This time it's Deal. Eddie Duffy got the pass going coast to coast. Foul, but couldn't get it to go. A little bit too strong off the glass. And that has been a bit of an issue. There have been many blemishes for Stanley County here in the early going, but they've missed some very close shots inside the paint. Eddie Duffy has got 8 points. Couldn't get the friendly roll at home. That one hit the front of the iron, kind of rolled around the right side of the iron, hit the glass, and then did a loop back around and just tilted out. Duffy patiently sets and fires, and he's good on the second. Press is still on here early in the second quarter for Stanley County. You probably won't see that press go anywhere. Sometimes it fluctuates from a soft to a hard full court press, but that defense is paying off. A lot of steals here in the first half, and another turnover as Tyler Bullhead is called for the travel. Paxton Deal barking out plays as he crosses midcourt. Brendan Bothwell with it on the right side wing. Deal with an NBA range 3 is no good off the front iron, but there's one of those junkyard dog type of plays. Bothwell gets the rebound, couldn't get it to go, but it's those extra earned possessions that just start to mount up through a game. And here's a drive and a foul committed by the Buffaloes. Caleb Oliveros was the one to drive the lane. Foul is assessed to Brendan Bothwell. That's his 3rd foul, and we're less than a minute into the second quarter. So we might be seeing some of those bench players we discussed a little bit sooner than we might have expected. Jack Deal is covering Bullhead. Bullhead kicks to the corner. Oliveros thought about 3, swings back up to the top for Brown Otter, who gives it right back. Bullhead dribbling, working on Deal. Between the legs, lockdown, suffocating defense. Ball swings to the near side corner on the far side. That shot is no good. Rebound pulled down by Paxton Deal. Bright tag out running, and he has it swatted away on a fantastic block from Latai Brownon. Again, Stanley County attacking into your passenger seat if you're listening live. Mustangs going away from us in our corner vantage point here in Parkview. Paxton Deal on his left side wing. Far side from us, over in front of the scores table. Shaking and shimmying away. Found a little bit of daylight, thought about 3. Gives it off to Jack Deal. Deal tried to kick towards the free throw line for Breitag, but it's given away. Tyler Bullhead up and pushing. Brown Otter driving, baseline, tried to swing it around the body of Tegan Breitag, intended for Zach Bullhead, but that's deflected out of bounds off a Mustang. I believe Zach Bullhead was the last player to touch it. And head coach Nathaniel Brown incessant on getting his team to focus. He is animated over there on the Mustang sideline, not liking what he's seeing. And I don't blame him. It's not that it's been sloppy play from McLaughlin. It's just been hounding defense from Stanley County. Weston Prince swings to the far side wing. Eddie Duffy looks for another three. That's off the front iron, no good. We've got another foul whistled. 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Our CHS River Plains halftime show coming up at the break. Recap this first half scoring when it's all said and done. Take a look at some other scores from around the state. Another giveaway for the McLaughlin Mustangs. It's a travel. Talon Brown Otter was looking for a pass along the baseline. He was in the far side left corner and just took one extra step. Had a couple hands in his way. He didn't feel safe or comfortable throwing that one along the baseline, and it drew a travel. Duffy kicks to the corner. Jack Deal gives it right back. Paxton Deal wants three. That's off the side of the rim, no good. It bounces out of bounds. And one of our more seasoned Stanley County Buffalo fans gets a touch on that one and a high five from Latai Brown Otter. Love to see the fans get involved. While Brown Otter kicks back up top, Bullhead dribbling to the top of the key. 2-3 defense playing out for the Stanley County Buffaloes. Paxton Deal guarding in the corner. This one fed into Bullhead. Bullhead kicks outside the arc. Brown Otter, who's got 1-3 on the day, gives up a look, swings it back outside. Tyler Bullhead along the baseline. Mid-range jumper, no good. Duffy there for the board. Duffy charging, driving, laying up, no good. Bride Tech fighting for the rebound. It popcorns out to Jack Deal. Swings up top for Paxton Deal. He fakes. Euro steps in the lane. Can't get that to go. Eddie Duffy there to claim the rebound, but he dribbles it on the baseline. And the Stanley County offense is stalled out a bit. McLaughlin's defense picking up. They trail 23-7 to the Mustangs. Stanley County comfortably out in front. After a blistering start, they got out in front 12-0 before the Mustangs answered with their first bucket. Meanwhile, a shot just inside the arc for Talon Brown Otter is off the mark. 4:36 to play in the first half. Duffy at the top of the key. Swings to Jack Deal. Ball continuing to move its way around the outside of the arc. Can't give Eddie Duffy too much space. Paxton Deal fakes the three. Kicks to the corner. Jack Deal wide open for three. And it's right on the money. Jack Deal with 5 points. His first shot outside the arc tonight. Makes it 26-7, Stanley County. Another steal. This time, Joe Malm. Malm drives coast to coast, and Malm is fouled. You know that we would see some bench players with Brendan Bothwell getting 3 fouls here early in this ballgame, and Joe Malm was the name called off the bench. So many guys. This is a very deep bench for Stanley County. A lot of talent outside the starting five. Malm's first free throw on the way is perfect. Weston Prince gets some final instruction, followed by Eddie Duffy and Paxton Deal. Malm's second free throw on the way is perfect. Press back on, and Eddie Duffy almost gets another Stanley County steal. That was Caleb Oliveros trying to get back to his inbounder. But Duffy with his long arms using that 6'2" frame to his advantage. Mustangs get it across midcourt, but are called for a double dribble. Talon Brown Otter just hassled by Weston Prince and Paxton Deal as he crossed midcourt. I think Joey Fisher, there's a lot you can improve on, and it seems like the better you play, the more you can find things to improve on. One of those things was going to be the offensive consistency for Joey Fisher as Eddie Duffy pulls one from the elbow. Talk about consistency. Eddie Duffy's got another bucket, and the Buffaloes have another steal. Duffy again, inside for Prince. He is fouled on the up and under layup. 30-7, Stanley County putting their foot on the gas pedal here. Weston Prince is scoreless tonight, but he has made his plays on defense. See if he can get on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. First free throw on the way for Prince is true. Prince awaiting couple more substitutions take place. Paxton Deal will get a well-deserved breather. Second free throw for Prince. Off the back iron, no good. Strong rebound pulled down by Latai Brownotter. Cross midcourt. Tyler Bullhead gives off to Brownotter. Back up top for Bullhead. Bullhead double teamed and a timeout taken by Nathaniel Brown. 31-7 with 3:20 to play in the first half. We'll step away for this Agtegra break. We'll be back with a word from Agtegra in 60 seconds on KGFX.
Building communities. It's a particular kind of joy when people come together. There's really nothing like it. And isn't it amazing in that magic moment how all the distance between us, all the obstacles, just disappear? Wherever, whenever, however. Connecting you to what matters most.
It's a brand new year, which means it's the perfect time for a new Deere. At Grossenberg Implement, they're kicking off the new year with unbeatable deals on the John Deere equipment you've been waiting for. Whether you're upgrading your tractor, leveling up your hay operation, or getting ready for planting season, start the year strong with the reliability, performance, and technology only John Deere delivers. Stop into any of the 9 locations today and let the Grossenberg team help you ring in the new year with a new Deere. Grossenberg Implement. Service, the other half of a great product.
What if...
Remaining on our Wegner Auto scoreboard here in the first half. Hello, everybody. Justin Cowart welcoming you back into our broadcast booth in Parkview Auditorium. And a quick word between the official Eddie Duffy and Tyler Bullhead, making sure that we're keeping things clean and cordial down there on the floor. And a good group of officials here tonight. Mustangs coming out of the Agtegra break, just trying to find a little bit of rhythm and momentum on offense. Hard when this defense is playing the way it is tonight for Stanley County. As this one is kicked into the corner by Talon Brownotter, but it's too far out in front of Caleb Oliveros, and that's out of bounds and back to the Buffaloes. Tough pass for Brownotter to make. He was driving baseline that kind of turned as he was moving to try to find its way to Oliveros. Tough pass to make. Couldn't be handled. Meanwhile, Stanley County looking to build on this big first half lead. Eddie Duffy wants 3, and Eddie Duffy's got it. What a first half for Eddie Duffy. He was in double digits a while ago. Brightag cuts in front of a pass. He gets the steal, and he can't get it to go off the glass on the far side block. As the Mustangs charge away from us up here in the corner of Parkview, overlooking this beautiful hardwood court. 34-7. Stanley County out in front. The Mustangs just trying to break up these offensive pushes. I'm faking on the 3. Eddie Duffer covered up. Talon Brownotter well. Gets its way back up to Latai Brownotter. He's got it back on the right side wing. Down into the corner for Brownotter again. Little shimmy shake. Shot off the glass goes for Tyler Bullhead, and he's fouled by Trevor Caldwell. What a move in the face of 6'8" Trevor Caldwell. Tyler Bullhead, no short player either. He's 6 foot tall, but everybody seems a little bit shorter next to Caldwell, who just keeps growing. A couple months ago, he was listed at 6'7" on the football roster. Now, a young man up to 6'8". Caldwell has drawn his first foul. He's going to walk back into the atrium and grab some water. Meanwhile, 3-point play unable to be completed there, but a strong rebound by Talon Brownotter. That's exactly what McLaughlin needs. See if they can go 2 for 1 on points and possession. Into the corner. Fed inside for Latai Brownotter. Gives it off to Tyler Bullhead, but he loses control coming down the lane. Paxton Deal with 1:40 to play here in the first half. Kicks to the far side wing for Weston Prince. Prince inside for Brightag. He turns and drives down the near side lane off the elbow, and he's called, I believe, before the travel. If the Mustangs want to give themselves a more surmountable mountain to climb here in the second half. They need some buckets here to close out this second quarter, but that's not going to help. The pass from Tyler Bullhead over the head of Latai Brownotter. And out of bounds, Paxton Deal will inbound. And we got a whistle and officials timeout to let Brightag tie up his laces. Just remind you out of our AgTegra timeout a little bit earlier, acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTegra cooperative today. Paxton Deal across midcourt. Hounded by Tyler Bullhead. Deflects it back into the backcourt. Saved by Deal. Another one poked out of the hands of Brightag. He throws one in for Jack Deal. That one also deflected by Oliveros. Deal driving the lane. That one swatted away and blocked. Some great presence down low in the paint. Jack Deal, he's 5'7". There's some tall trees down low. Mustangs trying to work on offense. Another steal by Duffy. Duffy drives down, kicks to the far side corner. Deal for three, no good. Duffy with the offensive board, and the putback is good. Eddie Duffy already making me run out of space on the score sheet. 36-9, Stanley County leading. Tyler Bullhead down into the far side corner, and he's going to draw a foul. Looks like they'll get Weston Prince with the contact here. $35.4 to play here in our opening half. CHS River Plains halftime show coming up in the next half minute. Shot clock and game clock just about in sync. Caleb Oliveros step back, cuts back underneath. Jack Deal tries to get it to go off the glass. What is this pass from Weston Prince? He tried. Now, Weston Prince played quarterback for Max Foth in the Stanley County Buffaloes this year, and he threw a lot of touchdown passes to Paxton Deal. That one would have been incomplete and about 5 yards too long for Paxton Deal, who essentially ran a go-round up the far sideline in front of the scorer's table. I think Prince might have thought there was less time on the clock. But a giveaway sets up the Mustangs with 7 seconds and counting as they run their offense. Kicked into the corner. Caleb Oliveros driving at the buzzer. Floater goes, and that's a great way to finish the first half for the Mustangs. They still trail 36-11, but Caleb Oliveros gets a big bucket to stop the bleeding and to at least go into the halftime break with a little something to build on. As we take a quick look at some of the scoring, my, oh my, what a first half for Eddie Duffy. 3 made threes, made 1 free throw, and 3 other field goals. So he had a first half performance of 16 points. And as we take a look at some of the other scoring for you, Tegan Brightag had 6 points. Paxton Deal with 1. 1 bucket for 2 points. Jack Deal finished the first half with 5. From the McLaughlin Mustangs, a couple threes fell. Tyler Bullhead had a 3-point bucket. Latai Brownotter also hitting a 3. Caleb Oliveros hit that 2-point field goal at the end of the first half. Tyler Bullhead leading the Mustangs in scoring with 5. Both cheer squads will be out to perform at this halftime break presented by CHS River Plains. The Mustangs cheer squad travels well. Folks here will enjoy that performance. Quickly here, let's while we continue on in our CHS River Plains halftime show, we'll take a quick look at some scores from around the state. On the boys' side of Class B, Jones County and Phillip in a good one. Jones County should get the win there under 1 minute to play in the fourth quarter. JC leading 53-45. Esteline Hendricks and Del Rapids St. Mary in a thriller. Esteline Hendricks wins it in overtime 56-54. Willa Frederick area beat Aberdeen Roncalli earlier this evening 60-49. Platte Geddes leading Corsica Stickney 42-30. The undefeated Sully Butte Chargers going to stay undefeated. They have 2 minutes left and are throttling Highmore Herald 79-37. And just a reminder, folks, we'll have all of the final scores from around the state for you on our local sports page at drgnews.com. One final score for you, Lyman leading Gregory, and going to get the win there, 61-50. Well, folks, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look ahead at this second half, see what both teams can do. I will say, great performance from the McLaughlin Mustang cheer squad and some great sportsmanship shown as well as some handshakes at midcourt between the two great squads concludes our halftime performance here in Parkview. We'll be back after this short break with more from the CHS River Plains halftime show.
Text camp. What if the margins on your farm keep getting tighter? Simplot Grower Solutions is here to help. Simplot Crop Advisors know South Dakota corn, soybean, wheat, and other crops like you do because they live and work here. So, even if the market shifts or the margins keep getting tighter, you'll have the insight and support to keep moving forward. Simplot Grower Solutions.
Most people don't think about their furnace until it's not working, but we do. At Pipe Service Experts, we are trained to see what others miss. Airflow restrictions, pressure imbalances, heat exchanger flaws. That's how we catch little issues before they become cold nights and costly repairs. Because keeping your home warm takes more than just a toolbox. Our certified technicians will get your system running at peak condition. Call Pipe Service Experts for our special $99 precision tune-up today. Call 866-EXPERTS. See website for license details.
Now's your chance for a great deal on smoking fast fiber internet from Venture Communications. Upgrade to the speed you need, up to 1 gig. And with whole home Wi-Fi included as part of your service, experience no-lag gaming, your favorite music, web surfing, HD video streaming, and connect to the latest smart devices. If you're ready for an upgrade, call or visit Venture Communications online.
John Hoffman Electric is your neighborhood electrical service contractor and so much more. No job is too big or too small for our team of professionals. We pride ourselves on keeping up with new technologies such as Aerial, an augmented reality visual tool used to customize and experience a finished space before breaking ground. So whether you're building new or renovating a home, farm, or commercial space, let John Hoffman Electric light the way. John Hoffman is a proud sponsor of all local activities broadcast on Live Ticket TV.
Welcome to Bowie Foods at Al's Oasis Plaza. My great-grandfather, Gus Bowie, opened the first store in 1905. I'm R.F. Bowie, the president of Bowie Foods. We aren't your typical store. You'll find everything you need for your family. You'll save money, and I promise you're going to enjoy your grocery shopping experience. We carry a lot of locally produced products and some things you just aren't going to find anywhere else. South Dakota owned, family owned, Bowie Foods.
When you're in the need for
Special orders. Quality building materials and affordable prices for residential or commercial projects can be found at Bauman Lumber, 1223 Sale Barn Road, Fort Pierre, or call 223-9762. Access Health, Fort Pierre, welcomes new and established patients, offering chronic and acute care for all ages, including evaluations for illness and injuries, immunizations, lab testing, wellness exams, and DOT and sports visits. Same-day appointments are available, and most major insurances are accepted. Good luck this season, athletes, from Access Health, Fort Pierre, assuring access to quality health care.
As a cooperative, Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union is owned by our members. Once a member, always a member, even if you move out of the area. We provide deposit services and loans of all kinds, including home loans, egg loans, and vehicle loans with competitive rates. Stop by and visit us at North Garfield at the Northridge Plaza in Pierre, or use our convenient drive-through lane. Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union, member NCUA.
We're small enough to know your name, but we're big on you.
Back to the CHS River Plains halftime show. Hello, everybody. Justin Cowart coming to you live from Parkview. On the camera tonight, Brian Menning. And, of course, back in the studio, Miss Haley Hansen. And I know that some of you might want to know about the college football playoff semifinal score. Unfortunately, I do this weird thing where I record the games because I want to watch them all in their entirety, want to make sure I've got all the info necessary for our podcast, Cowards Corner. So not checking out the score. I appreciate none of the folks filling me in on the score, and I'm sorry. And if you wanted to know what's going on, well, you'll just have to get that Scores app and check it out. But make sure you get that DRG News app so you can bounce around from game to game. And we've got multiple games going on across our stations tonight. KPLO just wrapped up their coverage of Sully Buttes taking down Highmore Herald. And here on KGFX, Stanley County comfortably out in front, 36-11. Our first half score. A couple minutes left here in this halftime break. So as we take a look ahead into the second half, McLaughlin, it's really nothing that the Mustangs are doing wrong. Sure, they've had their turnovers. They've had their passes that have sailed over their intended target's head and gone out of bounds. One guy starts cutting. The pass goes behind him as they weren't on the same page. But you have to give a lot of credit to this Stanley County defense. I said it earlier, and I'll continue to say it. They play like junkyard dogs. They are just hungry for that ball. Anytime they see it, they want to go after it and get it. And it's guys like Jack Deal, Weston Prince, Brendan Bothwell, Paxton Deal, those guys that just put their body on the line, diving back and forth to put these balls and making huge plays that earn them extra possessions. Tegan Breitag and Trevor Caldwell have been good down below in the paint, getting some rebounds. And, this Stanley County offense has missed a lot of close shots up under and right up against the backboard and rim. They've been inside the paint, inside the half arc underneath the paint, and have missed a lot of, let's just call it easy makeable layups. And this lead could look a lot different. The McLaughlin Mustangs, they've got to use that to their advantage in the second half. Could be a larger deficit. They're trailing 36-11. There's still 2 quarters of basketball left to play, but they've got to get some offensive continuity going. They've got to protect the basketball in the second half if they want to make a late push here. Well, folks, I'm very much looking forward to Monday. I'm going to be spending the evening with the Stanley County Buffaloes here in Parkview Auditorium. We're going to be doing another Day in the Life segment. Now, if you don't know what the Day in the Life is, we did it with the Peer Governor football team. And I thought, what better way to continue our partnership with the Stanley County Buffaloes and this organization over here in Fort Pierre than doing a day in the life with these guys, getting behind the scenes. So I'm going to step into one of their practices. Big thanks to Joey Fisher for allowing us to come in and do one of these fun segments. I have a blast doing it. I don't feel great the next day because I do all the drills, do all the sprints, and do all the hustling stuff with the team. But it is a ton of fun. And this Stanley County team turning a lot of heads here early in the season as they break out of the huddle. They look to continue their undefeated start. They're 2 quarters away, and Stanley County will start with this second half possession. Thanks for listening to the CHS River Plains halftime show. It's time for some basketball. Eddie Duffy, Paxton Deal, Tegan Breitag, Weston Prince, and Brendan Bothwell, the 5 on the floor for the Buffaloes. Javon Chasing Hawk will be guarding Paxton Deal. Quick handoff as this one gets to Paxton Deal on the left side wing. No good. Rebound by Bothwell. He kicks it out. Duffy's got an open look at 3, and he drops it through. Eddie Duffy, have a night, young man. Another tray for Duffy as he continues to add to his total, and another steal by the Buffaloes. This goes off the leg of a Mustang out there on the floor for the Mustangs currently. As we try to track down our roster here. There it is. Latai Brownotter out there. Duffy wants 3 more from the corner, and that one is true. Back-to-back threes for Eddie Duffy. It's 42-11. Trying to answer. The Mustangs get it with a 3-pointer from the corner. It's Javon Chasing Hawk. Big 3 to answer. Duffy hounded at midcourt. And we've got a whistle and a foul against Latai Brownotter. I keep trying to finish the 5 out on the floor for the Mustangs, but the action's so quick. Javon Chasing Hawk's out there. He just knocked down a big 3. Tyler Bullhead also out there alongside Caleb Oliveros. Passed into the corner for Duffy. The Buffaloes now attacking away from us, going towards your headlights. Paxton Deal with a drive. That one tipped at the rim. No good, but Breitag there to clean up the rebound and put it back in for the 2. 6-point first half for Tegan Breitag brings his total to 10. Passed up top, and a whistle. As driving down in the paint was Tyler Bullhead. That foul will be assessed to Brendan Bothwell. That's his fourth. So Jack Deal will check in. Jack Deal, some incredibly valuable minutes off the bench for Stanley County. Probably heard me say it 2 games ago. Had his best varsity performance, 20 points for Jack Deal. He was our Bound and Lumber player of the game that night, and I've got his T-shirt sitting right next to him. So make sure to get that to young Jack. Inbounded and stolen by Prince. Not on the same page were the Mustangs, and Weston Prince goes unguarded to the hoop. 46-14 with 5:40 to play in the third quarter. Stanley County pouring it on. 3 on the way from the far side wing. That's no good for Oliveros. Rebounded by Eddie Duffy. Duffy now running point, drives the lane, kicks inside. What a feed to Deal, who kicks it outside. Weston Prince for 3, in and out. It was halfway down. Tegan Breitag steals away the rebound. What a play from Tegan Breitag. That was in the hands of Latai Brownotter. Tegan Breitag coming up from behind, doing his best Brendan Bothwell and Weston Prince impression. Pops it out of the hands of Brownotter, secures the possession, and Joey Fisher will take his first Agtegra timeout of this second half. We'll keep it right here and remind you that Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. Quick peek at our Wegner Auto scoreboard. 5:17 to play here in the third quarter. 46-14. Stanley County putting on one of their best offensive performances of the night. This team is keen on steals. They've got 60 steals on the season. And they're adding to that total here in bunches tonight. Paxton Deal out of the Agtegra timeout. Will swing it to the right side wing for Jack Deal. They find Eddie Duffy at the top of the key, wide open for 3. That's no good, but the rebound by Weston Prince immediately given away, trying to find Jack Deal. What a move in the paint for Tyler Bullhead. Swung it behind his back, stepped back, couldn't get the jumper to go. Stanley County got the rebound on the miss, and diving out of bounds trying to save it was Weston Prince, but his right elbow touches the purple paint. And it'll go back to the Mustangs. Running clock instituted here with the 46-14 lead for Stanley County. And another steal. This time it's Prince again. Numbers for the Buffaloes. Jack Deal drives and lays it up and in off the glass. We've mentioned his name a lot tonight. Eddie Duffy having a great evening. He seems really comfortable. A lot more comfortable than he seemed against Harriet Selby area 2 games ago. Meanwhile, the Mustangs looking for a much-needed 3. That's no good from the corner. Ball popcorning around, comes to rest in the hands of Caleb Oliveros, and a fresh shot clock for the Mustangs. NBA range 3 for Latai Brownotter. Off the side iron, no good. Breitag falling out of bounds, turns and tosses it to Duffy. Another nice play from Tegan Breitag. Duffy finds Jack Deal open in the corner. He pump fakes the 3 and drives, and we've got a foul on the floor. It's like Latai Brownotter with the contact. Joe Malm and Trevor Caldwell will check into the ball game for Stanley County. Talon Brownotter checking in for the Mustangs. Latai Brownotter will hit the bench, and for Stanley County, it'll be Weston Prince and Tegan Breitag to get the rest. Paxton Deal to inbound. Along the baseline, finds a cutting Trevor Caldwell, and Trevor Caldwell with the left hand finds his way onto the Wegner Auto scoreboard. 50-14, Stanley County getting another stop on defense. Up and under layup, no good for Zach Bullhead, but Eddie Duffy couldn't hold on to it as he was coming down with the rebound. Taking a look ahead, of course, Jones County Invitational right around the corner. All the coverage coming to you live on KPLO with Darren Boyle. It's fun going to the JCI with Darren Boyle. You feel like you're walking in with the president. Here's a quick shot off the far side block, in and out, no good from Caleb Oliveros. Stanley County charging down the floor. Eddie Duffy gives up a 3, drives the lane. That one's blocked inside. Nice play there by Zach Bullhead. Out and running are the Stangs. And they got a little bit too aggressive. They threw it into traffic, but it's off the shin of Trevor Caldwell. So at the least, Stanley County will be able to reset. Chase Meyer will check back into the game. Paxton Deal heads to the bench. 2:10 and counting here in the third quarter. Mustangs have been suffocated by the Stanley County defense. Step back three. No good there from Tyler Bullhead. Good look, good move. Eddie Duffy with the rebound. And look at Bullhead cover a bunch of hardwood and get down to block the Jack Deal layup. We talked about the effort level from Stanley County Lady Buffalo basketball. Well, the Mustangs are showing that same type of effort. No give up in this team. Meanwhile, Duffy on the inbound gets a look at three. No good. Caldwell with a strong rebound. He's fouled and fouled hard as he tumbles to the floor. And all 6'8" of that frame hit. You could almost feel the building shake as Trevor Caldwell gets up, dusts himself off, and sets up for 2 free throws. So Caldwell will set. Caldwell's got a very extensive pre-shot routine when he's at the free throw line. This one up and no good. Stanley County hadn't been to the line much tonight. Only 8 free throws by my count. Caldwell looking to split the pair. 2 points tonight for the 6'8" center, and he knocks that one down. 51-14. Final 60 to play here in the third. Mustangs on the left side wing from their vantage point are right. Driving, Tyler Bullhead puts his head down and draws the foul in the lane. They'll say that was on the floor. It's the second team foul now that it's been added for the Buffaloes in this third period. Pass in, deflected by Caldwell, almost stolen. Pump fake by Oliveros, and he drops it in. Nice play, getting Trevor Caldwell up in the air by Caleb Oliveros. Jack Deal now sprinting down the floor. Shot clock shut off. Buffaloes will try to play for the last shot at least. Caleb Oliveros, there's the effort we're talking about. 51-16, and Oliveros is hounding Jack Deal at midcourt. If anything, Nathaniel Brown's got to be proud of his team's effort. Three-pointer on the way for James Fosham. No good. Couple rebounds offensively. It's put back in at the buzzer for Chase Meyer. And an exclamation point on a huge third quarter. 53-16. Stanley County leads going into the fourth. We'll be back in 60 seconds with the fourth and final quarter of our doubleheader here tonight on KGFX.
High-quality replacement auto parts. Look no further than Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop in Pierre. Zander's has been servicing the Pierre area for over 40 years. Their professional parts techs can get you the part you need and get you back on the road. Stop by Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop at 500 West Sioux in Pierre or call 224-9221. Zander's, your source for domestic and foreign auto parts and accessories.
Being a part of a community means sharing the history and future of the people all around you. For 115 years, First Fidelity Bank has been doing just that, helping you get the most out of life by providing the services and tools you need, the conveniences and technology you want, and the friendly faces you expect. So you get everything you need right here in the place you call home. Now and for many years to come. First Fidelity Bank.
Allied Plumbing and
The fourth quarter here in Parkview as Stanley County leads 53-16. Hello, everybody. Justin Cowart bringing you all the live action here on this Thursday night. It'll start with the Mustangs possession. A step back shot is good from just inside the arc. What a shot from Tyler Bullhead. He draws the foul and can make it a 3-point play. Eddie Duffy with his second foul of the night. What a tough shot pulled off by Tyler Bullhead. Had his hand in his face and the body of Eddie Duffy bearing down as he was in the air. Love to see him knock down this free throw off the back iron, but the Mustangs get the board. They throw it across midcourt. Almost saved by Oliveros, but stolen away by Duffy, and Paxton Deal gets the pass inside and scores 2 more. Another foul called against the Mustangs. A lot of bodies go tumbling down to the floor. Nothing malicious on that foul, just a hard foul is all. Mustangs just playing out these final couple minutes hard. Paxton Deal to make it a 3-point play. Does so perfectly on the free throw. He's got 5 tonight. Free popcorn being handed out in the stands. If anybody listening can get their hands on an extra bag, I'd be forever indebted to you. Mustangs trying to answer the 3-point play back. Rifled pass stolen somehow by Paxton Deal. He caught it behind his head. And my mother always said she had eyes in the back of her head. I think Paxton Deal did too. That's the only way I can figure out how he caught that pass. Right tag trying to fit it in down low. Great steal by Zach Bullhead for the Mustangs, and a whistle as he charged out. See if I can flag down this young Stanley County Buffalo fan handing out the free popcorn. She's not peeking up here. Let's get back to the action. Brendan Bothwell to inbound, squeezes it in. Bright tag off the glass is true. Bright tag having a nice night. 10 points for the senior. 58-18 lead for the Buffaloes. And assault away their 6th straight win to start this season, and another steal generated defensively. Eddie Duffy dribbling across midcourt. Swings it to Bothwell on the left side wing. He dribbles and kicks it around to Paxton Deal. Paxton Deal fouled as he drives towards the baseline. This foul will occur on the floor. Second team foul for the Mustangs here in the fourth quarter. Just the one for Stanley County as the Wegner Auto scoreboard ticks under 5:20 to go. Bothwell floats it in. Deal from way downtown. Gets the bounce off the iron he needed, but it didn't take the right bounce. So he misses the shot, but Stanley County gets the rebound, and Eddie Duffy alone at the top of the key knocks down another 3. 6th made 3 in the ball game for Duffy. 3rd this half. 61-18 Stanley County. And another steal. Weston Prince again. Long pass to to Deal, and Paxton Deal gets the layup. Weston Prince making some noise in his return. And we've got a timeout on the floor taken. 4:39 to play. We'll take it with them. 63-18 Stanley County leads. We'll be back after this short break on KGFX.
Is your contact for business, farm, commercial, and residential plumbing needs located in Pierre. No job is too big or small for Allied. Put our over 50 years of experience to work for you. At Allied Plumbing and Heating, the only surprise we want for our customers is how fast they get the job done. That's why we offer free estimates on every single service, no hidden charges. Give them a call today at Allied Plumbing and Heating. Remember, you can rely on your allies.
Pests don't wait.
Out of the AgTegra timeout, acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTegra cooperative today. Final 4:30 here in the fourth quarter. Stanley County going to stay undefeated here as the Mustangs driving some new bodies out on the floor. We'll get you these updated 5s when we get a couple breaks in the action. LeBeau with it for the Mustangs. Kicks up top. Handling now is LeBeau again at the top of the key. He hoists a 3, no good, and the rebound pulled down by Carson Bourne. Jack Neal still on the floor for the Buffaloes. He's one of the only remaining guys from that kind of, Jack Neal kind of plays the 6th man role. Beautiful feed inside. Bourne couldn't get the layup, but James Fosham with a wonderful feed. Stanley County gets the offensive rebound, but gives it right back. Bobtail Bear with the steal, and he goes rifling out of bounds. And she has seen me, and she's going to hook me up with the popcorn. That is great news. Haley Hansen said, I needed to make a sign. I want to thank whoever announced to this young Stanley County fan. She has delivered the popcorn. Thank you so much. That's outstanding. Down to support the Stanley County Booster Club and Buff Nation. I'll be making my donation on the way out. Mustangs with the ball here. LeBeau up top, trying to work. Drives the lane, spins, shoots. Oh, what a shot from LeBeau. That was gorgeous. Raynan LeBeau with a wonderful little move in the lane. Spun, stepped back, and dropped the shot. Got the friendly roll. And some more good defense by the Mustangs. This time it's Wiley Running Hawk to generate the steal. Coast to coast, and a great finish from Bobtail Bear, the junior. The Mustangs playing with some pride here in the last 2:30, 63-22. Stanley County is just trying to stay healthy these final 2:30. Jack Deal in the lane, pump fakes the pass, but he's called for the travel. Joe Malm out on the floor as a part of this new look 5 with the Buffaloes. Quentin Long Elk with a pass into the corner. Ball continues to move around the outside of the arc. Bobtail Bear trying to spin again. Almost pulled up a fadeaway 3, but right in his face was Joe Malm. Wiley Running Hawk trying to shake free. Nice spin move down the lane as he works against Chase Meyer. A foul is called. They'll say that's on the floor. So the Mustangs trying to work quickly here with the running clock, wanting to get as many possessions in here in the final 90 seconds of this fourth quarter. Quick shot off the inbound. What a shot and what a make by Wiley Running Hawk, the 5'9" freshman. Couple of really flashy baskets by this McLaughlin Mustang bench here in the fourth quarter. Couple more guys coming to check in off the Stanley County bench in our next break. 60 seconds and some change. Here's a 3 on the way off the back iron. No good for James Fosham. Strong rebound by Long Elk. Passed up ahead to Wiley Running Hawk. Deep 3 on the way. Bobtail Bear a bit short on that one. That would have got the McLaughlin bench fired up. Jack Deal across midcourt. Trapped and good defense. And an over in the back is caused by the trap between Raynon LeBeau and Bobtail Bear. Trig Roberts will check into the game for Stanley County here in the final 33. Also get our first look at Jacob Meyer here tonight. Bobtail Bear, step back 3 on the way, and it's true. Lady Mustangs loved that one. Nice shot by Bobtail Bear, 63-27. Final 15 seconds. They almost generate another steal. And they do almost again. Mustangs still flying around. Stanley County does get it across midcourt. They'll hold on. And Bobtail Bear goes in. Thought he was trying to foul. The buzzer sounds. And Stanley County gets the win. 63-27, the final on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Stanley County improves to 6-0 on the season. We'll talk more about that historic start in our Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show. McLaughlin falls to 2-5. We'll recap both games for you. Take a look at some scores around the state. When we return here in a couple moments, we'll be listening to the Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show right after this break.
Neither should you. At Olson's Pest Technicians, we've been protecting homes and businesses for over 55 years. From bats and attics to rodents and walls, ants in kitchens, stubborn bedbug infestations, even swarms of mosquitoes. We've seen it all, and we handle it all. With expert technicians, ethical treatments, and service across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa, you can count on Olson's to get the job done right. Contact us today at Olson's Pest Technicians. Family owned, community trusted.
Do you want to join one of the oldest established organizations in Fort Pierre? Perhaps you are more interested in protecting the future. Whatever your position, the Fort Pierre Volunteer Fire Department is for you. We are responsible for fire protection in Fort Pierre and Stanley County. Become part of this amazing team by stopping down at the fire hall and discussing enrollment. We are not just limited to adults, as we have a new cadet program for students ages 14 to 18. For more information, click on our banner ad on the homepage. From everyone at the fire hall, go Buffs!
Out here, you learn that to keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they count on, with advantages at every step. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
Dakota Pro Air is a locally family-owned business that has been taking care of farmers' aerial needs since 2020. With locations in Letcher and Miller, Dakota Pro Air is able to provide service to a large area. Ground conditions too wet, or just don't want those sprayer tracks in your field? Give Dakota Pro Air a call for all your chemical and fertilizer application needs at 605-248-2314.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Bank West is rooted in South Dakota. Committed to local success. Just like you. We're all connected. In South Dakota. For South Dakota. Convenient, connected, committed. Bank West.
When life gets hard.
Most nights like tonight, we've got multiple games going across our airwaves. We'll have another packed schedule on Saturday. Let's go ahead and download the DRG News app. You'll be able to bounce around from game to game, make your listening experience much more streamlined and much more enjoyable. We'll take a look ahead at our broadcast schedule here in a moment, but let's take a look at some individual scoring. As we mentioned, Eddie Duffy led both teams in scoring 25 points, 6 made threes for Duffy, and 3 of those came in the second half. He was really good from outside of the arc. Kind of a difference from 2 games ago when he only scored 10, couldn't get it going and get into any sort of rhythm offensively, but he found it against Highmore. He continues it here against McLaughlin, and that is a great sight to see as Stanley County jumps into a very difficult stretch of their schedule. Jack Deal, by our count, he finished with 7 total points. Weston Prince had 3 on the night. Joe Malm knocked down 2 free throws to finish with 2. Chase Meyer with 2 as well. Quiet night offensively for Paxton Deal. He finished with 5 total points by my count, but I believe we missed a basket by Paxton Deal, so we'll give him 7 there. But it was a really good performance defensively, and we'll dive more into that here in a moment. But quickly remind you, Tegan Breitag, he had a good night as well. He finished in double digits with 10 points. Trevor Caldwell with 3. It was a really good defensive game from Weston Prince, who came back after having to sit out that 1 game after the technical foul 2 games ago. He didn't miss a beat, and he didn't light up the scoreboard statistically offensively, but he sure did with his defense. This Stanley County boys team just flies all over the floor, makes great plays, and showed that off again tonight. You know, they have been kind of their calling card has been their offense, but Joey Fisher saying there's big buy-in with this team, and you can see that on the defensive side of the floor. These guys are just always hounding the basketball. Any pass at all is not safe with this Stanley County team. And again, put that on display tonight. For the McLaughlin Mustangs, Caleb Oliveros finished with 4 points. Tyler Bullhead finishes with 7. Javon Chasinghawk finishes with 4. Latai Brownotter had a nice 3 early in the game, but the Stanley County defense locked him out from that point on. And as we look ahead for the McLaughlin Mustangs, they've got 2 home games coming up, one against Crow Creek. That'll be on Saturday. And then they get a long break, 17 days off, where they take on TR Spazina. So some good time for them to get some good rest, get in some practices, and get everybody healthy. We saw a couple guys grabbing at some muscles and trying to work some things out. So that'll be a good time for them to get settled down, get healthy, and get back before they take on TR Spazina on the 27th. And then on January 31st, they close the month on the road with Todd County. As we look ahead, I want to remind you the Jones County Invitational is coming up next week. It'll be the 15th, 16th, and 17th. We'll have coverage there from KPLO. I'll be down there with Darren Boyle. Can't wait to do that. Always a fun tournament to be at. A lot of great teams. There's going to be a ton of great teams there. Bennett County, Jones County, Kadoka area, White River, Phillips, Stanley County, Lyman. It's going to be a ton of fun. So make sure you keep your airwaves open for some Jones County Invitational basketball next week. After the JCI, it's a 3-day break into an even longer stretch for Stanley County. After 3 games on the 15th through the 17th, they go back to Jones County to take on the Coyotes on the 20th. They come back home to take on Gettysburg on the 23rd. Big one with a very good Cheyenne Eagle Butte team on the 24th. And then following that up with an undefeated Sully Buttes team who got the win against Highmore Herald earlier tonight. They then go on the road to take on Crow Creek, and they will have one game that says TBD on the 31st. That is because it is the DSU Classic at Dakota State University, and we'll find out who they're playing when the time comes. Folks, on your way home, as folks file out of Parkview Auditorium, the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety reminds you, don't veer for deer. It starts with you. You've got someplace to be, and hopefully that someplace is with us at the Jones County Invitational. We will have some coverages before then for you as we look ahead. Sully Buttes at Highmore Herald girls basketball will be tomorrow night on KPLO, and then a full slate Saturday. Gettysburg will take on Timberlake on KMLO. And Pierre Governor boys and girls basketball will be in action. We'll have the Pierre Governor girls on KGFX Saturday afternoon. Coverage beginning at 1:30 for a 2 o'clock tip. Brian Oakland will be on the road with the boys on River 92.7, same time, and also tipping at 2 p.m. In the nightcap, Mobridge Pollock will be taking on... as we get this thing sorted out here, Mobridge Pollock will be taking on Del Rapids boys basketball at the Round Ball Classic on Star 99. That coverage will be with Matthew Chavoni. All right, it's everybody's favorite segment. Time to hand out our Bauman Lumber Player of the Game t-shirt. Before we do that, let's hear a word from our friends at Bauman Lumber.
When you need building supplies, there's no need to go anywhere except to Bauman Lumber in Fort Pierre. Bauman Lumber is locally owned and offers quality products, expert advice, free estimates, and free local delivery for large or small projects. Whether it's a home improvement project, remodel job, or all new construction, they even welcome special orders. Quality building materials and affordable prices for residential or commercial projects can be found at Bauman Lumber, 1223 Sale Barn Road, Fort Pierre, or call 223-9762.
Well, this is a tough one. It could go a lot of ways. I mean, Tegan Breitach had a great night in the paint, finishing with 10 points. Paxton Deal did a nice job facilitating the basketball. And, for the McLaughlin Mustangs, those kids hung tough. Tyler Bullhead has stayed consistent throughout the game in his defense, and all guys through that starting 5 for McLaughlin, and Caleb Oliveros, Tyler Bullhead, Javon Chasinghawk, Zach Bullhead, and Latai Brownotter, they never gave up. They continued to force the issue, even when they fell behind early 12-0. Stanley County was able to continue to build that lead, but you never saw a lapse in effort from McLaughlin, and that's something that, even though in the loss, Nathaniel Brown, their head coach, can take that and say, look, we just play like that. We get a couple things to bounce our way. Then now we can start finding some more wins, add into that 2 wins on the win column currently. But I think Nathaniel Brown is going to say the same thing that a lot of people are saying. This is just a dang good Stanley County Buffalo team. And you know what? They're playing some of their best basketball. Told you we'd take a quick look back at some history here for Stanley County. This is one of their best starts in their program's history. The last time this team started undefeated past the Christmas break moratorium was back in 2002-2003. Jason Buckholz was on that team. He's going to be inducted into the Stanley County Hall of Fame in a couple weeks. Before that, you got to go back to my birth year, 19 1996-97 when Chris Fosham, the girls' head coach, took his team to an 11-0 start. It was 1988, 1989. I don't think we're going back to the 1800s here, although Fort Pierre is the oldest town in South Dakota, and I know that from my time here in the great state. And it was a 13-1 start for the Buffaloes then. Go back to 1962-63 when they started 12-1. Special things are happening here for the Stanley County Buffalo team, and I get away from all that. Eddie Duffy is our Bauman Lumber player of the game. That was a very circular way to get to that. You can't deny it. Kid had 25 points. He was lights out from outside the arc. And he looks like he was playing with a lot more comfortability. And that is something that Joey Fisher is really going to need as they get into the stretch of these long games, these long weeks with a lot of games, is good defense, what he had tonight. And you'd love to see Eddie Duffy get going. We mentioned it a little bit earlier in our Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show. Last year, which was my first year with Stanley County, kind of my first introduction to this team, it was a lot of offense. It was a lot of what you see now, quick shots early in the shot clock, guys trying to get down the court quickly and get up a lot of outside looks because, I kind of, I subscribe to the Nate Oates theory and kind of his game style in Alabama, one of the highest scoring teams in college basketball. He wants to get up a lot of shots early in shot counts, and he feels like the more shots you get, the higher likelihood that you're going to score more points. I know it's kind of 2 + 2 = 4, but that was what Stanley County was last year. They just lacked that defensive prowess and buy-in that we're seeing this season, and that is what I think can take this team to the top. We're seeing a great start from these guys, and great to see Eddie Duffy getting going here in tonight's game, scoring 25 points for his second straight performance. So congratulations to Eddie Duffy. He is our Bauman Lumber player of the game tonight. Well, folks, want to give a big thanks to all of our great sponsors for helping us broadcast Stanley County basketball against McLaughlin here tonight in this doubleheader on KGFX. Our friends at Avera Health, First Dakota National Bank, Access Health, the Stanley County Booster Club, Xander Auto Parts, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Bauman Lumber, Ferding Electric, and Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union. Big thanks to Bank West, our pregame sponsor, the DRG News app, Buff Nation for sponsoring our Keys to Success, and the South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division of Consumer Protection for sponsoring our introduction of game officials. AgTegra sponsored our timeouts. Our halftime show was sponsored by CHS River Plains, our player of the game sponsored by Bauman Lumber, and also our sports video sponsor. Of course, our post-game show is brought to you by Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg, and one final time off of our Wegner Auto scoreboard, Stanley County boys get the win in Game 2, 63-27. McLaughlin Mustangs win a nail-biter in Game 1 of the girls' game, 47-46. Well, for our friend Brian Menning on the camera, for Haley Hansen back in the studio, I'm Justin Cowart saying so long and have a great evening, have a great weekend. We'll be back on KGFX with girls basketball Saturday and back on KPLO for Stanley County's participation in the Jones County Invitational. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday for Pierre versus Sioux Falls on KGFX and streaming live on drgnews.com.
Driven by the Office of Highway Safety. 1060 KGFX Pierre. Rebroadcasting on K276GT. 103.1 FM Fort Pierre. Booze, you cruise, you lose.